Here's another inductee, neither noted for his speed or size. Mr. Bucky Buchanan, please come to the stage. So what makes this guy run? Over his many years in sport, in coaching and administration, this man has been a whirling dervish, keeping several balls, pucks, pens, pencils, notepads, whistles, and even every hat known to man in the air above him. Carl Buchanan, known as Bucky to everyone, enters tonight as a sports builder, but to his lengthy resume, you could definitely add a builder of character in men and women and a builder of respect and pride in the community. Where and when do you start when you talk about this guy? Was it when he came to Xavier Junior College as its first athletic director in 1968, when starting from scratch he had limited budget, no college-owned facilities, only reliance on the community, and no college opponents, only those in local leagues or through exhibition games? Was it when he had the foresight to help found the Nova Scotia College Conference? Was it when the provincial government decided to form the College of Cape Breton from the former Xavier College and Eastern Institute of Technology, when Bucky had to bring the two schools and their teams together with new names, new colors, while planning the construction of new facilities? Maybe it was when he coached the college's hockey team to a national title in the Canadian Colleges Hockey Association in 1978, something totally unexpected by hockey observers except his players and his coaching staff, even after his teams had won bronze medals in 1974 and 75. 15 of his teams in various sports won provincial championships too. Was it in 1968 when he moved from his New Brunswick home to Sydney for his new role at Xavier College and started a gymnastics club at the college, or put soccer on the map as a coach at both the college and community level? Could have been 1980 when he was asked to volunteer his time, whatever extra time he had, to be a promoter of the Canada Games proposed for Sydney in 1987. He assembled the bid to be presented to the National Canada Games Society, and when it was accepted, assumed the role of president of the Cape Breton Host Society. It could have been any of those times that defined a career that has enabled this energetic and visionary man to enter the Hall of Fame tonight as a builder of sport, people, and community. He has a great passion for hockey. Kevin Cameron has known Bucky since they were clinicians together 30 years ago at an Al McNeil hockey camp in Cape Breton.
He was ahead of the game in many ways, and I think this helped him as he grew in other role in sport, in that that team was fit. They were unbelievably fit. He had lots of ice for them. There wouldn't have been the emphasis on dry land that there would have been today, but I know those members of those of that team did lots of dry land as well, and they went out there and they probably surprised some people, but they came home as national champs. And you know, I think it helped, not just that year, but it gave College Cape Breton. This was a team, a hockey team that punched above its weight, and it gave the school that same reputation. So it grew the aura, and you know, it continued on to be UCCB, and now Cape Breton University. And I think the success of that hockey team helped grow the image and the aura of that institution. And Bucky was obviously a huge, huge part of that.
Bucky coached the Capers to the Canadian Colleges Athletic Association National Championship in '78 and guided them to silver in 1981. His teams actually won 15 college conference championships. He had time and enthusiasm to coach and give clinics at the provincial level, served 4 terms as vice president of the Nova Scotia Hockey Association, coach in the Eastern Junior Hockey League, the Cape Breton Senior League, and was Sydney chair of the World Junior Hockey Championships in 2003. For all of that effort, Bucky was Canadian Colleges Athletic Association Coach of the Year in 1986 and received the Gordon Jukes Award from the Canadian Hockey Association in 1996 for his contribution to hockey in Canada. And Kevin Cameron now on Bucky's affection for hockey.
He was, number one, passion for the game, not unlike others who have had success in coaching. He loved the game, but he also was a student of the game, and he wasn't somebody who did things same old, same old. Bucky was a guy who pushed the envelope. he was, you know, he's a guy, well-educated man. He went out and looked at best practices, and he took that and implemented it with his team. And I think he had a lot of autonomy with that hockey club. And I said before, he had lots of ice time, and he put people in the roles that they should have been in. And that's one of the reasons they were so successful as a team. They may not have been the most talented bunch of individuals, but Bucky's team never got outworked. And on the system play and fundamentals, they were second to none. And I think he's the kind of guy that young men would have had a lot of respect for. I know they would have, and they would have gone through the wall for him, and that's significant too.
Hockey wasn't the end-all and be-all for Bucky. He coached soccer at the college and developed and coached a senior team in the Cape Breton League. He developed gymnastics and coached some basketball. He even got involved with harness racing as an owner and horseman's representative in the development of a new racing facility in North Sydney. While doing all of that, Bucky wore the cap of athletic director at the College of Cape Breton. His impression on young coaches was immediate and long-lasting. Laura Saunders, who later coached women's soccer and basketball at Acadia, began her college coaching career at the College of Cape Breton.
The world of them, to be honest. I was young, you know, naive in the world of college sport at that time, but extremely keen and wanting to do well. I found Bucky to be an athletic director that cared about his coaches and worked hard to make their lives easier. Whatever he could do for us, he would try very, very hard to do so. And you just knew he stood behind you. You know, he was in your corner. When things were going well, of course, everybody's in your corner. But you know, if your team's struggling or if you're struggling with something, then it's always nice to have someone that you know is there with you during the tough times as well, and he certainly was. I valued his opinion. There's times I sought out his advice, and I certainly would heed what he would have to say. He was a hockey coach as well at the time. I knew that he had a great deal of coaching experience, which was very important to me as a young coach. I always liked the fact that I felt that he could put himself in my shoes. He may not have been a basketball or soccer coach, but he had been a coach, and there was very few situations that would arise that I felt that he couldn't relate to.
As an administrator, Bucky was without peer. He has been described as a people person by those with whom he dealt, a man who was fair and respectful, and earned the respect of those working with him. The reputation Bucky had built as a man who tackled challenges to create success was undaunted when he was asked to lead the Cape Breton Canada Games. Russ McNeil has known Bucky as a friend, co-worker, and compatriot in sport for close to 4 decades. He describes Bucky's entry to the Canada Games.
I think he was contacted by some influential people in the area to say, would you lead a discussion towards the possibility of getting the games? And as a result of his integrity and his movement, he became president. And it was extremely well done. People loved it. And the best of all, there was a profit made of probably 1.5 million, which a lot of people suspected that would never, ever happen in our lovely Cape Breton.
Kevin Cameron talks about Bucky's work ethic, one that ensured success for the Canada Games, while Russ McNeil refers to the infrastructure left in Cape Breton.
Probably, undoubtedly, other people could have filled the role as president of the Canada Games. I don't think they could have made a better choice. He had credibility in so many circles, you know, as a coach, as an administrator, as a person of influence in that community. And when you're in that role, dealing with a lot of volunteers, again, you've got to have, above all else, I think you've got to have respect. And Bucky would have had that. And I know the hours that he worked were unbelievable. And I know that the Canada Games in Cape Breton have been used for years as a benchmark against others.
We have a beautiful Canada Games facility. We have all updates onto many of the gymnasiums and the ice rinks and other facilities. There was a fitness center erected through that. And I would think that overall on the whole island, between the athletic section of the games and the cultural sets of the games was 100% perfect.
One of Bucky's major achievements as Canada Games president was the development of the Max Bell Sports Clinic, a facility that would offer modern medicine and nursing services. The Sports Clinic currently provides students and local residents with health care. Bucky Buchanan has a master's degree in education from the University of Tennessee, a PhD in sports psychology and educational administration from the University of Florida, has been a professor of leisure studies at UCCB, as well as athletic director and coach, has received the Queen's Golden Jubilee Medal and a federal government commemorative medal for his volunteerism, and in retirement is on boards, commissions, and assists with charitable fundraising. Dr. Johannes Huntgens was instrumental in bringing Bucky to Xavier College in the 1960s. In a note to the Hall of Fame, he says, quote, "Bucky accepted the posting to the great benefit of all the men and women who have participated in the athletic activities of the college and province over the years. He even convinced me, someone who only ever played soccer and never hockey, to be the goalie in a staff versus students hockey game. That is Bucky, being able to encourage the talents of even the less than competent to participate and do their best. He has been a busy man and is still a busy man, and truly exemplifies the theory that if you want something done, give it to a busy guy." He is our newest inductee in the Builder category to the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame, Carl Bucky Buchanan. Great job. Can we have Mark Smith come forward, please? Our chairman of the selection committee, a Hall of Fame member as an athlete, a longtime friend of Bucky Buchanan's. And for the pin, an associate of Bucky's for more than 40 years, Russ McNeil. Hey, before we get rolling, tell us about your night last night here.
The university hosted a night for me at the Palooka's Gym. We had a fantastic night, and I'm pleased to announce that as part of the evening's festivities, they've agreed apparently to name a scholarship after me, and they donated $10,000 last night to kick it off.
Beautiful. Does the energy to do all of that just come from a love of sport?
I had great mentors growing up. Mr. Crow, my high school coaches, Paul Skirman and PEI, that some of these people would know. Great mentors, a great intramural, great varsity program in high school, continued with great experiences in university. And I love sport. It's been my life's work. And when you love something, you do it without question, I think. And I've met so many wonderful people along the way that always assist when asked, and usually are the positive people in life, which makes it so much more enjoyable than when they are.
Right. And if you love a place, you never leave, and that's you in Cape Breton, isn't it?
Well, I've been so blessed. When I moved there, I'd only been to Cape Breton once or twice before that to play hockey, but I love it. It's my home. My daughters have been born there. And sometimes in Cape Breton, it takes them a while to call you Caper. But I think after 42 years, I'm getting there. And I know this, that good athletes from Cape Breton, when they believe in what you're trying to do or accomplish, and they put their shoulder to the wheel, they'll go through a wall for you.
One last one. Is retire even in a guy like yours vocabulary?
No, I'm currently working with Sport Nova Scotia, loving it. Got a program going there. I'm a financial campaign raiser with the university. I have 8 horses at home. My wife sometimes wants me to move up handier my grandchildren here in Halifax, Dartmouth, so who knows, maybe I get out of the saddle 2 or 3 years down the road, maybe.
Right. We'll watch your development. You're doing well.
Thank you very, very much.
Great potential, this man. Carl Bucky Buchanan. Thanks, man. Lovely job. buddy. Okay.